So we're jumping back into Jarnail Singh's testimony to the inquiry and an email that he's sending for an update to someone in the post office about the current cases and what the position is, sharing it with another lawyer. And despite his previous assurances that the Horizon bashing bandwagon email was dictated to him, he certainly adopts the words there by suggesting that anyone raising Horizon issues is merely jumping on the passing bandwagon and that Horizon challenges will melt away like midnight snow. He previously mentioned that he didn't really consider his job to be justifying the confidence that the executive team had in Horizon, but he turns around in his latest email that he sent saying, what message will it send in our confidence in Horizon if we don't prosecute these sub-postmasters? Let's jump into the inquiry.
Good afternoon, sir. Can you see and hear me?
Yes, I can.
Thank you, sir. Can we move forward, please, Mr. Singh, to December 2013? I'm still asking you questions about culture and mindset within the Post Office prosecution lawyers team.
Certainly.
Poll 0014-1653, please. And can we turn to page 5, please? Just to give you some context to the questions I'm going to ask. We can see an email to you from Roderick Williams, a litigation lawyer. Jarnail senior management has asked for the, quote, current position on prosecutions. When paused, what do we have in train? Can we put something together? And then if we go, please, to page 3 and scroll down. You say on the 4th of December, please find attached a current snapshot of the position of Post Office Limited prosecution cases. Let me know if you need anything further. And then if we go to the bottom of page 2, please, an email from you to David Oliver. Who was David Oliver?
No idea, honest. I mean, at that time, there was so many teams set up, so many people coming and going, so many QCs, senior lawyers, agents. I honestly don't know how he fitted into anything.
I mean, he must have known him at the time, clearly, otherwise you wouldn't have been emailing him, but I guess given the passage of time, forgetting a few names would be understandable.
So at this time, December 2013, just to orientate ourselves, Second Sight was undertaking its work, yes?
Yes.
This is after Simon Clarke from Cartwright King's advices, yes?
I don't know. I mean,
we know they're July and August 2013.
Yes, possibly.
Yep. We're going to come back to all of this next year, Mr. Singh, i.e. the extent to which the Post Office continued to prosecute people in the light of information revealed to it and advice that it received, and whether there was an attempt to cover up information and documents that might have led to criminal convictions being overturned. But I'm looking at it for a different purpose at the moment. You say to Mr. Oliver, following my discussions with you and Belinda, can you remember who Belinda Crowe was?
I think she was the head of something. I mean, I don't know what, because it was difficult because there's so much going on. People dealing with mediation, people dealing with all sorts of aspects of the mediation, chief executive appearing before committees, and all, do you know what I mean? Belinda, I have met her. I don't know what position she was heading, something or other, but years on, I've forgotten. I don't even know her surname. I mean, probably
Crowe.
Yeah, there it is. There, yeah.
You continue. Here is a quick note which may help with some of the answers to, and I think that should be the board's questions. So, looking at this, does it seem as if the board of the Post Office Limited had asked some questions? Is that right?
It looks. That's what it looks like.
And then under the heading live prosecution matters, 1, it regarded acceptable to proceed with. 2, number of the prosecutions were in the pipeline and currently in court. 3, looked at case by case and decision made on them to continue. And then over the page, 4, certain cases terminated after review. Others were safe to continue with guilty plea. Admissions and not challenged, the Horizon in court, i.e. defendant made full and frank admissions, pleaded guilty, substantial amounts theft of money, breach of trust. It would have been a miscarriage of justice to let them walk free. Therefore, the prosecution continued.
And interestingly, actually, we know it's quite the opposite now, that actually the miscarriage of justice happened because they didn't let them walk free.
5, the cases were not stopped because it did not need to be. 6, have Post Office stopped every single, I think that should read had Post Office stopped every single prosecution, what signal does that send out about confidence in the Horizon system?
So there we go. We've got some evidence that actually he was thinking about the confidence in the Horizon system, despite his previous claims saying he didn't really see justifying the confidence in the system as part of his role. He's clearly considering it in this email.
Now, I'm going to come back next year to ask you about what all of this means and what was being done in terms of deciding which cases to proceed with, which cases were proceeded with because an admission had been made, which cases were proceeded with because an admission had been made but no Horizon disclosure had been given, and the like. But then you continue advised on, here former General Counsel, I think that should be, gave instructions that no further summons to be issued for the time being. One security team wished to continue investigating, and cases, I don't know what this means, were advice on and prepared for the following reasons. A, so that evidence was not lost, witnesses' recollections deteriorated prior to any statements being taken. B, so that investigation team could continue to process the work and get the prosecution in ready condition, thereby avoiding impossible workload as and when prosecution is resumed. Hope this helps. So it seems like you're explaining which cases are going to court and which cases have been advised on, yes? And why you're continuing to work on cases and the investigation team are continuing to work on cases, even though General Counsel had given instructions that no further summonses were being issued. Yes?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to explain this, but it's such a long time ago. There was, there's so much pressure. And I think it's very easy now. You've got the time to actually consider all that. But that was, don't forget, the prosecution has been tendered out to a third party, and that's more or less what their position was for me to advise in turn. So it wasn't...
At the moment, I'm not asking you to justify what was done or asking you about the substance of what was done. This is just to give you some background to the email that we're looking at, to see in what context it was sent.
So, I mean, again, though, he's trying to pass on the book there, isn't he? And saying, really, these weren't my words. I was just parroting what the lawyers firm that were leading the prosecution on behalf of the Post Office were telling me to say.
It's just update.
And then, can we go to page 1, please? At the bottom of the page. Mr. Oliver replies to you, Jarnell, thanks for this. I have a few questions now, and we'll probably come back with a few more if okay. And then if we just go to the top of the page, you replied saying, please see my reply in red below. Yes?
Yeah.
And if we scroll down, there are 4 questions, and if we can just highlight the questions to start with so we can see what they were. If Frankie can highlight them in yellow, please. So question 1 is, on the live prosecution cases, can you give me a few paras on why you were proceeding with the POCA enforcement hearings? Yep. And then there's your reply, which would have been in red in the email, in the original. Do you understand?
Yes.
Then over the page, please. Question 2 is under that bullet point, what is a PCMH stage? Yes?
Yes.
And then your reply, we can see it because it's in a different font, begins the PCMH stage is. Yeah? And then question 3 is, what is a mention before trial? Yeah?
Yes. Yes.
And then question 4 is, of the 31 advised on cases, how many are being worked on for further evidence? How many has there been advice to charge, and how many are awaiting the expert witness? Can you see that?
Yes.
So they're the 4 questions, and everything else is your reply in red. Can you see that?
Yes. Yeah.
So on that 4th question, that's the one I want to ask you about, you reply to the question, how many are being worked on for further evidence? How many have there been advice to charge on? And how many are waiting expert evidence? You say, these are not mutually exclusive. As the landscape now stands, in most of the cases, it is better that we have the expert instructed, as any case begun now will attract some type of Horizon issue, because this is the passing bandwagon people are jumping on. When we have a few wins under our belt, the Horizon challenges will melt away like midnight snow. In some cases, e.g. Redmond, we do not need the expert, as she's made full admissions. But the cases where Horizon can be completely ruled out are few and far between, even if it only goes to quantum, i.e. value of loss. Much of the work requested in our charging advices is dotting I's and crossing T's. Most of the cases advised for charge will be sound prosecutions with comparatively little extra work when we either have an expert statement in the bundle or we can't get one if the Horizon is raised in a case. Sorry.
I mean, it's interesting there because, like, obviously he says I didn't actually write the Horizon bashing bandwagon email, but whether he actually invented the term, he's certainly happy to be using the term because this is an email that he himself has sent, and he has referred to the any case begun now will attract some type of Horizon issue because this is the passing bandwagon people are jumping on.
Or we can get one if the Horizon is raised in a case. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to get back. You see in that answer, and this is December 2013, after Second Sight has started its work, after the Clark advices have revealed, in Mr. Clark's view, that Mr. Jenkins was a discredited prosecution witness and couldn't be relied on in court.
Yes.
And that disclosures needed to be made, which may undermine the safety of some criminal convictions. You're saying that people raising Horizon issues are doing so because there's a passing bandwagon. Why did you form that view?
I don't know. I had it's a sort of, this isn't just one person. We worked as a team because there was so much going on. It was a team effort, team view. It wasn't a decision made by me. It was a decision by people working on it, and not only internally but externally. There are people with a lot of experience in this type of work. So this is not a personal view. It was the general view, put in that answer.
This is your email.
Yes.
It's no one else's email.
No, but we worked as a team. I don't know. I can't explain as to.
Did somebody dictate this email to you?
Possibly. I don't know.
I mean, by saying that, I think he's kind of like, again, it's kind of striking at the heart of his credibility here, because anything which seems to be unfavourable, which seems to be frankly everything, you know, it's coming back to, well, someone else probably dictated it to me, well, I got it off this person, that person, this legal firm. It's kind of lacking the authenticity that he you know, otherwise what was he doing there if he was never actually providing any updates and anything? He was merely handing off messages from one person to another and sending them out in his name. It makes no sense.
Certainly, I honestly can't answer that. It's such a long time ago. Certainly, when your pressurized situation is completely different, now it is completely different because now we've got the time to consider it, time to actually digest it all. But that's what it was at that time. But I can't give you any explanation why it was put in that way, because there's too many issues that came together.
Why?
Surely that was his exact job, though, to digest these details at the time and come to opinions, you know, so that he could help decide whether to prosecute a case or not.
In December 2013, did you and the team still view the Horizon issue as a passing bandwagon that people were jumping on?
I don't know. I can't explain it to you. I don't know why that view was at that time. I don't know.